Hi guys, if you've seen some of my recent helicopter flying videos, you'll know that my little Nano Copter here, although it responds to my transmitter fine, does everything it should, it hardly gets off the ground anymore because I assume it's the battery isn't holding enough charge to get it going. And then this box, Nano Combat replacement helicopter, I picked up in a charity shop for £2, and that one doesn't recognise my transmitter, so I'm hoping that the battery in there is okay. There's no real way of testing it because, as I say, it doesn't respond to the transmitter. So what I'm going to do is take that one apart, see if I can get to the battery and obviously the motor, and that they'll be handy for other things. And this one I'll see if I can take it apart and get to the battery in that one too and swap the batteries over, so hopefully I'll have a flying helicopter again. Got a nice sharp knife. So which one shall we start on? Because they're completely sealed in polystyrene, so the only way to get them apart is going to be to cut them. What we don't want to do is cut through any wires, because then it's not going to work. I'm just cutting along the seam at the moment. Right. So, that's what the inside looks like. So I've got a LiPo battery, little LED to flash at the front, just lift that up. There we go. Alright, well there's our LiPo battery. So I should be able to just cut the wires individually, because you don't want to short them out, and piece them out onto another LiPo battery. I do actually have another LiPo battery here that I bought for another project, but that's significantly bigger. So I think there's not much chance of swapping them across. The weight difference would be too much. Looking at this one, it's got quite a bulge on it, so I don't know if that's... well, normally when they're bulging like that you expect them to catch fire. We'll see what the other one looks like. So, there we are, that's what's inside of there. So logically, we'll just swap the battery over. See, that one definitely looks bulging, doesn't it? So, that's what I'll do. I won't attempt to actually solder onto the circuit board. I'll cut the wires individually and solder the wires together. Because you don't want them to touch together. Well, that one's come loose anyway. So I will have to solder onto the circuit board there. Right, this is a bit annoying now because that wire's come off. Because I'm going to have to do some much finer soldering than I wanted to do. It's easy just to join wires, but to solder straight onto the circuit board, that's very fine work. Because I'm going to have to solder directly to the board, I might as well do the black wire as well. So I say, this is much finer work than I really want to do. Can't angle this and get the camera and see what I'm doing. I think we've done it. That looks positive, doesn't it? Before we stick it back together. That looks positive. That wire's come off. Oh, where was that? Just there, I think. Right, that's a problem. I have to get the soldering iron out again. Well, that was an unwelcome bit of extra soldering, but I seem to have got it back on again. So, can we get that back into place? Stick it down there somewhere. Mustn't forget that bit's got to go in there. Which way round was it? I don't remember. Hold tight and hope for the best. I'll let that glue dry for a few minutes and then we'll see if we can get off the ground. We won't try anything clever, we'll just try and see if it can lift off with that new battery. Well, that certainly works. The next problem we've got is the transmitter actually has a problem. It's got a dead spot in the middle. So there. We're nearly fully up and it's gone dead. Nothing's ever good on this, is it? So if I go a bit further, it'll jump up in the air. There we go. And when I try and come back down again, it hits the dead spot and drops like a stone. Ho hum. Just angle the camera up a bit further so you can actually see that it goes up quite nicely, apart from the dead spot on the transmitter. Yeah, so it's now the transmitter's letting me down. Which didn't really matter before because it wasn't getting off the ground on full power, but now yeah. So, as soon as it gets up too high and I back off a bit, it hits the dead spot and drops like a stone. Oh well, maybe we'll have to take this apart and see if there's something simple I can do to that. That'll be another video, I think.